I need you to hold my hand a little bit.
I can do that.
A little bit. Okay, because my head's going to explode. Let's start first with Biden ending his regime the same way he started, and that is banning energy. He has just banned offshore drilling in 625 million acres of federal waters. So that is a land area as large as, think of this, as large as Alaska, Texas, and Montana combined. Just Alaska and Texas, wouldn't that cover the entire United States? Isn't Texas like half of it, or just a little less than half, and Alaska is more than half?
I mean, no, not that big, but
pretty close. Pretty close.
I'm sure the way they describe that being Alaska, and I mean Texas is obviously already in the map, so you know how much of it that covers.
Yeah.
But
right.
The way they wrote that, it's pretty big, right? Alaska,
it's
Montana,
very
Texas
large.
Together, pretty significant.
Okay, so now he has stopped the drilling for oil. Now, the good news is there's no oil being drilled anywhere in this. So it just puts a cap on the future, which I love when old people, decide to dictate the future from the grave. I love that.
I love that
he's
too.
Not in
by
the
the way,
grave yet, but they're digging it.
And not good news that there's no development there already, right? Like it's plainly not good news. But you're right. Like he's just trying to put these things into place so they cannot even be reversed.
So this is the entire East Coast, the eastern Gulf of Mexico along Florida's coast, and the Pacific coast, California, Oregon, and Washington state. It also closes off the remaining 44 million acres of the northern Bering Sea climate resilience area in northwest Alaska. Now, this is quite amazing. And as Stu said, and as Donald Trump said yesterday, he's doing everything he can to make this transition as difficult as possible. He did this one because it's going to take an act of Congress to be able to reverse it. Because of the way this particular law was written, it gives the president the ability to block land, think of this, but through executive order, but not unblock that land. That's got to go through Congress. If that's not absolutely the reverse of common sense, I don't know what is. So anyway, Trump has vowed to fight this, but it's going to have to go through Congress. Now, think of what has happened with us and energy. When Joe Biden came into office, we were energy independent for the very first time. Energy allows us to have heat. Energy allows us to have hospitals that work. Energy allows us to produce products here in America. It helps you get to work with your car. What did they do? They took the oil and petroleum industry and did everything they could to shut it down. Who really got hurt in that? Well, you did. You did. You got really hurt in that because everything, including food, went up because petroleum is in almost everything, which is another story that we'll talk about with RFK at some point. But you cannot run a modern society without petroleum. Just can't be done. But they didn't care. And I said at the time, if you want to go to clean energy, that's fine. But you have to have something in between. And I said, if you were coming out and saying that we were going to open up nuclear power plants, if you were going to go that way, which is proven the cleanest energy and the safest energy of all time, if you were doing that, well, then, we could have a conversation, but you wouldn't. In fact, in 2022, California, they were so desperate for power that they kept the Diablo Canyon power plant, extended it for 5 more years. But they were shutting down everything they could. Everything they could. Power plants. nuclear power plants gone. Okay? Because how many times do we have to hear it? It is so dangerous, we could all die from bad nuclear burns. It'll be so bad when those nuclear power plants melt down in China syndrome. I saw the movie. Okay? It is not even up for discussion, right? Now let me give you this story from NPR. Now this came out a few months ago, but it ties into what we were talking about yesterday, and I don't think this ever got enough attention. Bill Gates is going nuclear. Okay, good. The 3 Mile Island power plant near Middletown, Pennsylvania, that was the scene of the worst commercial nuclear accident in U.S. history. Now, remember, that's the only reason why you know 3 Mile Island. It was the home of the worst commercial nuclear accident in U.S. history. Stu, how many people died?
Glenn, 0 people died.
Okay, I want to recount on that.
Yeah, it was exactly. I know it was exactly to precisely 0. In fact, the worst thing that happened in the 3 Mile Island tragedy was that a few people were subject to the same radiation you would receive getting a chest X-ray.
Oh my gosh! Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! You can see why this has stopped us from pursuing nuclear energy.
No, I can't.
Would you agree with me, Stu, that it was because of that accident and the movie that came out, China Syndrome, that really led to America going, well, you know what? Maybe we should hold off on this nuclear energy thing because it is so dangerous. Even though, count again, Stu. Count again. Are you sure you have that number?
Yeah, let me hold
right?
on one second. If you just let me get my calculator out here.
Carry the one.
Hold on one second.
Okay, all right. You got it. Doing all. He's crunching the numbers right now, America. Crunching the numbers.
No, no deaths.
No.
0. Oh,
no deaths. 0.
Oh. I can't tell if it's a 0 or the letter O, but it's
okay.
Either way, it's no deaths.
Now, this is a story from NPR. Okay. Constellation Energy, which bills itself as America's largest producer of clean, carbon-free energy, announced Friday that it has signed the largest ever power purchase agreement with Microsoft. Powering industries critical to our nation's global economic and technological competitiveness, including data centers, require an abundance of energy that is carbon-free and reliable every hour of every day. And nuclear power plants are the only energy sources that can consistently deliver on that promise. Wow. Well, what about solar panels, Bill? What about wind power, Bill? Bill Gates is reopening 3 Mile Island. And as NPR said, I mean, thank goodness, with Constellation Energy, which is the largest producer of clean, carbon-free energy. By the way, Constellation Energy also is a major contributor to NPR. These people not only create clean energy, they also help get the truth out, because they're dedicated to the truth at NPR. Except the problem is NPR is against nuclear energy. Every time you talk about a nuclear power plant, can't be built. Now, let me ask you, if powering industries critical to our nation's global economic and technological competitiveness, if that industry was, I don't know, Tesla, do you think Musk, everybody at NPR would be like, Elon Musk is opening up 3 Mile Island, and it wouldn't be a big deal? The deal, still quoting NPR, the deal will create approximately 3,400 jobs and bring more than $3 billion in state and federal taxes, according to the company. It also said the agreement will add $16 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP. So now money is a good thing over the radiation that you're going to receive. The agreement will span 20 years, and the plant is expected to reopen in 2028. Pennsylvania's nuclear energy industry plays a critical role in providing safe, reliable, carbon-free electricity that helps reduce emissions and grows Pennsylvania's economy, says Governor Josh Shapiro. Unlike power plants using fossil fuels, NPR writes, like coal or natural gas, nuclear power plants do not directly release carbon dioxide or any other greenhouse gas emissions that drives global warming. The particular nuclear reaction meltdown at 3 Mile Island, NPR reminds you, happened on March 28, 1979, when one of the plant's 2 reactors' cooling mechanisms malfunctioned. The reactor will be reopened to power Microsoft's data centers and was not involved in the accident. Before it was prematurely shuttered due to poor economics, this plant was among the safest and most reliable nuclear power plants on the grid. We look forward to bringing it back with a new name and a renewed mission to serve as an economic engine for Pennsylvania. However, some state activists are worried that taxpayers are going to foot the bill for the plant's reopening. We were told, let the marketplace decide. Well, the market decided, and they decided it's not nuclear, said Eric Epstein of the watchdog group 3 Mile Island Alert. Former Microsoft CEO Bill Gates invested $1 billion in a nuclear power plant that broke ground in Kemmerer, Wyoming, last June. Okay, so hang on. Now 2 power plants, both of them nuclear. I mean, has he been working on the paperwork to get that Wyoming power plant to be built? Has he been working on it since 1983? Because that's what it would take for anybody else. By the way, editor's note from NPR, Constellation Energy and Microsoft are among NPR's recent financial supporters. Oh. Well, it's good to know that there's nothing to worry about here. Bill Gates is a responsible human being, and so is nuclear power. It's clean, and it's good for the environment, and it's totally acceptable. Now, here's why blood shoots through my eyes. Why do they need this power? Not because you're having a hard time affording electricity. Not because you're having a hard time affording heat for your house. Not because they want to get rid of natural gas and want all of our stoves and everything else to be run on electricity. Not because we are switching over to battery cars, or that's what they hoped. It'll never happen now. But they hope that we're all going to go to electric vehicles. And as we found out when California was having their latest crisis, I don't know if it was snow or floods or landslides or earthquakes or wildfires or any of the other things that happen in California. But the last time they had a real problem, they had a drain on power. And they said, by the way, if you have a new electric car, please do not charge it for a week because we have a drain on the power supply. Did anybody talk about nuclear power then? No. We weren't even allowed to talk about nuclear power. It was off the table. We're not going to build nuclear power plants in the United States of America. Okay, all right, hang on just a second. But Bill Gates can. Okay, so you have been struggling with power. We all know that power is going to be a problem for the United States. We know that if we don't increase oil production, if we don't increase fracking, natural gas, or the easy way and the cleanest way to do it is to build nuclear power plants, we're not going to survive as a nation. They have taken everything that will benefit you and either canceled it, made it more difficult, or just taken it off the table. Number one is nuclear power. We've had to go to windmills. We've said it's not reliable. Okay, well, that's what you're getting. And you couldn't even discuss it. Okay, they wouldn't even discuss it with you. It's just going to happen. Now that Bill Gates wants power because he wants to be the king of the world with AI, he needs nuclear power plants. So he gets to build them. It's almost as if we're not allowed to talk about that either. We're not allowed to talk about the unbelievable gall that this guy who's well connected and has access to AI and wants to control the world through AI, he and his rich buddies and all the people he's paid for in Congress, he's able to buy or start up a nuclear power plant and build another one, but we're not allowed to even talk about one for us. No. We have to have nuclear power plants for our new god of AI. If this doesn't show you where you rank in this oligarchy, nothing will. There is nothing that would save more lives than cheap, reliable energy. The cheapest, most reliable, and the most climate friendly is nuclear power. Off the table for you. But we can crap nuclear power plants like they're coming out of our butt for Bill Gates.